All right, so that was enjoyable. Again, as I was saying, all of this glorious content will be going your way on YouTube tomorrow morning. That'll be July 13th, 2019, probably before the noontime. However, you're getting it right now, tonight, directly after Severity, because I love you all. So what we're going to do now is we're going to predict the Extreme Rules and Fight for the Fallen card for the sake of doing so. We're obviously going to get to Extreme Rules first. I find that most people that will watch any sort of preview, prediction, or review, or whatever it may be, if you're doing 2 and 1, they tend to go with the more notable first, and then they'll stick around if they're really interested. So we're going to kick off with Extreme Rules 2019, then go for Fight for the Fallen, which I believe Fight for the Fallen's tomorrow, and Extreme Rules is on Sunday. So these matches in no particular order. First up, we got the Revival versus the Usos with the Raw tag titles on the line. I believe the Revival are the champions right now. I'm going to go ahead and suggest... I'm going to predict the Usos win the titles just for this, I guess simply for the fact that the Revival could or could not be on their way out. And on top of that, it just seems as though it seems that it's been too long since the Usos last held the tag title. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that the drought ends at Extreme Rules and the Usos walk away with the titles. The next up will be the Braun Strowman Bobby Lashley Last Man Standing match. Glad to see his pancreas, or whatever the fuck it was, spleen, is healed. That's Strowman, it is. With the rumored push, I'm going to go ahead and say Braun Strowman wins this match. I mean, I would like for Bobby Lashley to win this match. Give him something to do. At least give him something resembling legitimacy. But, you know, I can't see Braun Strowman failing to reach the count of 10. You know, I can definitely see Bobby Lashley doing that, but not Braun Strowman. So I'm going to go ahead and say Braun Strowman wins. We've got a Cruiserweight Championship match. Drew Gulak defends against Tony Nese. Easy one. I think Gulak retains. We've got a triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown tag team titles. This does not seem to be an elimination tag team match. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Daniel Bryan and Rowan... I'm going to say that the New Day wins this match, takes the titles off of Bryan and Rowan. Heavy Machinery is just kind of left in the dust. Because I think they're going to bring Daniel Bryan back into the WWE title picture, whether or not Kofi wins or whether or not Joe wins, and have him become one of the immediate next challengers for the title. Another singles match, He Who Knocked Cesaro will be going up against Aleister Black. I think that Aleister Black is going to win, but I think it'll be overbooked. I think you'll probably get, I don't know, Cesaro's foot will be on the rope and the referee won't see it, or, you know, there'll be a shoddy disqualification or a referee error that costs Cesaro the match. One way or another, I see Aleister Black winning this match. Handicap match for the SmackDown Women's Tag Team titles. I'm not convinced that Sasha Banks is going back to the WWE just yet. So it's Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against Bayley. I still think Bayley's going to win. But at the end of the day, it would not surprise me if Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were to win at that. I just think they've done something really well with Bayley's character, and I think it's far too early for her to drop the title and not feel like it's too soon. So that's just my stance on it. Singles match for the U.S. title. Ricochet defends against AJ Styles. I think this is a more confusing match to predict. I think that if anything, Cesaro will probably, or not Cesaro, AJ Styles will probably I think AJ Styles is going to win. I think it's going to be with the help of the club. And I think that he'll have a heel championship reign that goes on for a while. Then you've got a singles match for, now, we'll go with the tag team match, the no holds barred tag team match with The Undertaker and Roman Reigns against Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. That is going to be a match that I believe Shane and Drew are going to win, because why not? Singles match for the WWE title is going to be Kofi Kingston defending against Samoa Joe. Kofi is rumored to be injured right now, working at least against an injury, and I think that Samoa Joe's time is now. While it would be great to see him win it with a little bit more anticipation built up, and I could see Samoa Joe losing just by another referee mess up, like with the Rey Mysterio shoulder up kind of debacle. But I cannot see Samoa Joe losing straight up to Kofi Kingston and then challenging again. I think it'll be either Joe wins clean or Kofi wins with some shoddy refereeing. And finally, the main event, the last chance winners take all mixed tag team Extreme Rules match for both the WWE Universal Championship and WWE Raw Women's Championship. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, the real-life couple. Did you know that they're a couple? Versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are going to win this match. Quite simply because they've not hammered it home yet, I guess, well enough that Rollins and Becky Lynch are a couple in order for us to, hang ourselves. I don't think they've annoyed us with that enough yet, so I think that is a good reason to believe that they'll win. And it's Baron Corbin. Enough said. AEW Fight for the Fallen. These predictions are going to be for tomorrow, so there you go. 2 matches already confirmed for the pre-show. There's Peter Avalon with Leva Bates against Sonny Kiss. I think this is a match that we could see. Wow. You see, AEW's, it's just 10 times better when it comes down to predictions, because if victories are meant, or wins and losses are meant to mean something, and booking isn't supposed to be the only thing that dictates the result of a match on the card, then it becomes kind of this case of predicting depends on what the story is saying, what the future for a performer has. Do they need the win? Do they need the loss? Will the loss really hurt them? Will the win really benefit them? What will it do for their opponents? There's all these factors to kind of bring in that make it like a sporting event. As a matter of fact, if that were to be the case, there would probably be more factors towards predicting this than, a football game or a basketball game, because there'd be all these different things in all these different, directions that just kind of bring it down to like mathematics, and who has the higher say to a victory. Let's just get to it. Kiss versus Avalon. I can absolutely see them pushing the Librarians as an X-Pac Heat sort of group, little team, and having that kick off with a win. But at the same time, Sonny Kiss being, I don't know whether you call him or her, or I don't exactly know what Sonny Kiss is trying to portray here. I don't know if it is a very feminine man or I have no clue exactly what they want me to think. Whatever. One way or another, he's a character that is going to kind of appeal to the LGBT audience. And I would not be surprised if a win for Sonny Kiss was kind of made possible so that pull towards the LGBT audience and their support was, kind of, what's the fucking word? Implemented. I don't fucking care. It's both men or both performers. I'll call Sonny Kiss a man. But both performers are... They both have viable reasoning to win. I really want Peter Avalon to win for the sake that I really want to see what the fuck happens with the Librarians. But I think the smart decision would probably be Sonny Kiss, because I think they're going to give him a push of some sorts in the future, just for the support, the constantly increasing support of the LGBT audience in comparison to WWE. So I think it'll be Sonny Kiss that wins, but I don't necessarily think that Peter Avalon needs a win, or the Librarians need to win in order to be, or to receive the reaction that they are receiving. So I'm going to go ahead and say Sonny Kiss wins this match. The other pre-show match is Britt Baker and Rio versus, or Rio, I guess Rio. Britt Baker and Rio, or Dr. Britt Baker, DMD and Rio, against Bea Priestley and Shoko Nakajima. Whatever. I'll be honest, never heard of her. I really want to see Bea win, just because I feel as though she could be, she could be one of those top women on the roster. I think she has what it takes. I think she's got this sort of moxie to her that makes her stand out in a way that you kind of describe as indescribable. It's not something that you can really kind of pin down. She's not a specific character. She's not a specific worker. She's got an in-ring arsenal that is very versatile. She can kind of adapt to whatever situation she's in. She's kind of like, if you had to describe her character, it would probably be, you'd probably describe it as she can just go with the flow. She doesn't necessarily need to stick to something. And that is something that I think could make her a legitimate star in the company. But Britt Baker is clearly the person they want to build around in the women's division. She's clearly the person that AEW wants to carry the torch in the women's division towards something of legitimacy, because no matter what you look at, the AEW tag team division, the AEW women's division, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship division, the AEW mid-cards, those are all unproven commodities. They're not, they don't have any legitimacy. The women's division could flop and flounder. It could become cash flow negative at times. When you look at it in a creative way, it could eventually become creatively bankrupt. The tag team division, while it has a lot of talent, may not live up to its expectations. So a lot of these results going towards things like the tag team division and the world heavyweight division, or the women's division in the near future, a lot of the results are going to have to be in the favor of somebody that can carry that torch. There is no real head of the women's division yet, so Britt Baker is really the first person and the only person, perhaps, that can legitimately carry and bear that torch and legitimize the women's division and make it feel important. I think Bea Priestley can do that, but I don't necessarily think she's at that level yet. And the winner of this match is going to have the immediate momentum. And I think, with that being said, in the near future of the women's championship picture, I think that Bea Priestley is not, I don't think she's going to take the pin. I think it'll be Nakajima that takes the pin, but I think it'll be Britt Baker making the pin, and I think it'll be Britt Baker winning the match. I think she's going to be given the momentum, and I think that momentum truly starts at Fight for the Fallen. So I'm going to go ahead and say Britt Baker and Rhea win. So now into the main card, or at least what is expected to be the main card. We got the three-way tag team match. So this is to advance to All Out for an opportunity at a first-round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Championships, or World Tag Team Championship tournament. So the way I'm reading it is The winner of this match advances to a match at All Out, and the winner of that match at All Out receives a first-round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament. So essentially, you've got 3 matches in the first round. You've got, Team 2 versus Team 7. You got Team 3 versus Team 6, and Team 4 versus Team 5. And then the winner of 2 versus 7 and 3 versus 6 face each other. And the winner of 4 versus 5 faces the team with the first round bye. Something like that. Just think of it as 3 lines. Each line has a team. And then in the next round, there's only one team that automatically gets there. And it's the winner of the match at All Out. So with that being said, the winner of this match would have to be a team that could legitimately be looked at as, contender for a first round bye. I would say at that point in time, the only team that makes sense is the Dark Order. They got that big introduction at Double or Nothing. This win will definitely kind of legitimize them. They've got, obviously, the fun tag team in Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and the high-flying Daredevil tag team of Angelico and Jack Evans. I think a win over those 2 teams are going to do something to kind of help the legitimacy of the Dark Order. And I think they're the only team right now that could legitimately, or that I could look at the very least for the way they were introduced into the company. They're the only team out of these 3 that I can see going to All Out and leaving me thinking, well, could they be the first round bye team? Sure, perhaps. I think they'll have a chance. So I'm going to go with the Dark Order to win that match. There is just a lot of factors to play into this. So we got the 6-man tag team match next. We got Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela against MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears. I think Kevin Scampoli had brought up a good point of if the whole factor of wins and losses need to mean something, or the wins and losses, if they are actually going to mean something, then the heel team needs to win this match. I couldn't agree more with that factor. Darby Allin already had that time limit draw with Cody. That did a lot for him. Joey Janela, I fucking love Joey Janela, but Joey Janela can be Joey Janela all he wants. Win, lose, or draw, he'll always be Joey Janela and get a Joey Janela reception. Jimmy Havoc, on the other hand, I think he's also great, but I don't necessarily think a loss is going to hurt him too much. I think MJF needs a win. Sammy Guevara needs a win. Shawn Spears needs a win. I mean, the only reason Shawn Spears really needs a win is because of the feud that he's going into with Cody Rhodes. Put it into WWE perspectives, because that's all you can really do with Shawn Spears. He hasn't really done too much on his own. So just imagine Ty Dillinger versus Cody Rhodes. Think of the legacy that Cody Rhodes had behind him, and the road that Rhodes another pun, had to take in order to get to this moment, as opposed to the road that Ty Dillinger had to take. Cody Rhodes has a lot of that sympathy and a lot of that, just a lot of what Cody Rhodes has, or Cody has, is something that Shawn Spears doesn't really have. He didn't implement any movement or change in pro wrestling. He hasn't really done anything since leaving WWE. Christ alive, my voice. And he hasn't really done anything since leaving NXT. So he only really needs a win because he's going up against somebody that is more legitimized than he is. And it's supposed to be a blockbuster match. So if Cody versus Shawn Spears is going to sell, Shawn Spears needs to feel like he's on the same playing field as Cody. And even without MJF and Sammy Guevara, that's Shawn Spears would be winning this hands down. But MJF, being a future face of the company as a mega heel, needs a win right now to feel important. And Sammy Guevara is also a major factor in the company that I want to see eventually get into the world title picture, that I think also needs a big victory, especially after his loss to Kip Sabian. So I'm going to go with the heel tag team to win. I'm really hoping that at the very least it's MJF or Sammy Guevara winning this match, and Shawn Spears kind of knocks someone out trying to break up a pinfall or whatever it may be, just to feel like he's implemented something into that match. Final tag team match. Nope, that's a lie. Second to last tag team match on the card. SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky with Christopher Daniels in their corner against the Lucha Brothers of Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. I don't think it would hurt SoCal Uncensored to lose this match. I think the Lucha Brothers need the victory, so I'm going to go ahead and say the Lucha Brothers. That's a more simple match to predict. And a tag team match, the final tag team match on the card, Cody and Dustin versus the Young Bucks. I think the Young Bucks are going to win that match. Just to add in that little emphasis of importance towards them and and their importance in the tag team division as a whole. I get that they're the founders of the company, and the company wouldn't exist without them, or partially wouldn't exist without them in some way, shape, manner, or form. But they also need to feel important in-ring wise. And I think as many victories as you can rack up for the Young Bucks, the team that will most likely lose to the team or the lose in the finals of the tournament to the future World Tag Team Champions, I think you need to have the Young Bucks win this match here. Moving on, you got a singles match between Adam Page and Kip Sabian. Well, I do really like Kip Sabian. I don't necessarily think he's at World Heavyweight Championship level yet. Meanwhile, Adam Page is very much at World Heavyweight Championship level. I think Adam Page wins this match. I think Kip Sabian puts on a good performance, probably gets close to beating Adam Page, maybe gets a very close 2.5 or close 2 3/4 pinfall, but I think Adam Page obviously wins this match and moves on to All Out with, I guess a shit ton of momentum. But considering Chris Jericho will be there with a live mic but not performing in a match, I assume it would be Jericho screwing over Adam Page at the end or after the match, like hitting him in the head with a live microphone, and then grabbing a new one that actually works, and cutting whatever promo he may cut. But that is how I see that match going and ending. That's the note I see it ending on. Brandy Rhodes versus Allie. Forgot to get to this one. I think Allie wins this match. I don't necessarily think Brandy is a fantastic wrestler. I don't think Allie is a fantastic wrestler either, but Brandy I look at as more of an executive in AEW than a wrestler, despite being both. She's more of that executive. She has that executive label even on screen, more than the wrestler label. So the fact that Allie is set to be one of the bigger stars in the women's division alongside Britt Baker and whomever else they kind of pair in that women's championship picture, I absolutely believe Allie will win this match. And then obviously what should be probably one of the more overlooked not overlooked necessarily because it's the Kenny Omega match, but it's one of the kind of put to the side matches on the card, since not everybody necessarily knows who CIMA is in comparison to the people that know people who know about Kenny Omega. Again, Kenny Omega versus CIMA. I think Kenny Omega will win this match. I think CIMA will have a fairly reasonable outing, but I don't necessarily think it'll be anything too special. I would be surprised if John Moxley wasn't in some way involved in this match. But I think Kenny Omega, after losing at Double or Nothing in his last singles match to date, needs the victory to kind of get back into the direction of headlining All Out against John Moxley. So those are my predictions for AEW Fight for the Fallen. And earlier you got my predictions for WWE Extreme Rules. We are going to give off another few advertisements, so we will see you again in 2 minutes. But if you're watching us on YouTube tomorrow morning, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Meanwhile, if you're watching the live stream right now on UZ Media, you are going to be treated to, what is it, a trailer for, let's see, not a trailer. You've got an interview rundown for the next season of The Author and the next season of Lincoln Heights. So we will see you again in just a few short moments.